You're eating clean, working out, you're doing all the things, but your body's like, nope, that's not your fault. And it's not about trying harder, it's about doing what works for your midlife body. In perimenopause, you need a smarter strategy. You need more muscle, not more cardio. You need nutrition that works with your hormones. You need a focus on physique change, not just the scale. That's exactly what you'll get inside my Lean Physique membership. It's for women who's tried all the diets, tracked all the things, and still aren't seeing the results that they want in midlife. Inside, you'll get strength workouts designed for physique change in perimenopause, nutrition coaching that works with your changing hormones, and you'll get the structure and support that you need to finally change your physique without extreme restriction. And right now, you can get it free for 2 weeks. No strings, just a strategy that actually works. Head to the link in the show notes to grab the free Lean Physique 2-week trial and start building a lean and strong body, even in perimenopause. See you in the membership. Well, hey there. Welcome to the Lean and Strong in Perimenopause podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Witten, and I'm so excited that you're here because today is our very first episode of our new podcast name. I just love the new name. I hope you do too. And the reason why I changed the podcast name was because I wanted to really align with my message, and I want to be able to find as many women as possible. So I'm hoping by changing this name, I'm going to find more women who needs to hear this message. Because here's the thing, you might be doing things like eating clean, you might be working out regularly, you're doing all the things, but your body's like, nope, it's not your fault. And it's not about trying harder. It's more about doing what's going to work with your midlife body. So in perimenopause, you need a smarter strategy. You need more muscle, not more cardio. You need nutrition that works with your hormones, not against them. And you need to focus on physique change, not just the scale. And that's exactly what we're going to do right here on the Lean and Strong in Perimenopause podcast. So thanks so much for being here. I'm really looking forward to sharing some content that's going to be beneficial for you to lose fat, build muscle, and get the physique change that you want, yes, even in perimenopause. So today, my friend, we're talking about the Lean Physique FRAMEwork, which is my proven framework for physique change in perimenopause. The workouts that you're doing, not working. You're eating clean and tracking, but nothing's budging. You're motivated, but you need a clear plan and real accountability, not another vague lifestyle change. So if this is you, welcome to perimenopause, babe. This is where your old workouts and your nutrition strategies are no longer working. And here's the thing, here's what you're really up against in perimenopause. Hormones are playing a whole new game. Muscle loss is starting to sneak in. Stress, sleep, and cravings are taking over. And everywhere you turn, there is conflicting advice everywhere. You don't need another diet. You need a hormone smart plan that actually works. So Lean Physique, which is my membership for women over 40 who want to lose fat and build muscle in their 40s and beyond, is all about physique change in perimenopause. And no, that doesn't mean dieting harder or doing more cardio. So today we're going to be breaking down my step-by-step method for getting my clients real results in perimenopause. So I'm really excited too, because right now I actually have a free 2-week trial for my membership for women, Lean Physique. And you can get more information and join the free 2-week trial by going to the link in the show notes. This is only a limited time, so doors are open now through Friday, May 2nd. Space is very, very limited because this includes one-on-one nutrition coaching with me. Sound good? Make sure that you check out the link in the show notes and reach out if you have any questions. but I really want to show you what Lean Physique is actually like. I want to show you the entire process of how to change your body composition. So whether your goal is to lose fat or build muscle, or perhaps a little bit of both, I'm going to show you the clear plan that you're going to get inside of Lean Physique that's going to take you from point A to point B much faster and easier as well. So here is the framework, ladies. The acronym is FRAME. So F is for foundation, R is for rocks, A is for assessment, M is for macros, and E is for evaluate and evolve. So in this episode, we're going to be breaking it down each and every little step in order for you to build the body of your dreams. Because here's the thing, ladies, it is time to frame, no pun intended, your fitness for this season in your life. So no more low-calorie diets that are working against you and your metabolism. No more cardio-heavy workouts that are making you look skinny fat. What this really is a method that works with you and your hormones, not against them. All right, so let's go ahead and start breaking this down step by step, shall we? So F is for foundation, muscular foundation, that is. So right away, as soon as you join Lean Physique, you're going to get started with the strength training workouts to boost your metabolism and your muscle, which is 100% your midlife magic. So immediately you're going to get started with those strength workouts that you can do at home or the gym. And not only that, you're going to be learning how to implement progressive overload. This is often the missing piece inside training programs. And unfortunately, a lot of workout programs do not have a lot of progressive overload, or they're not teaching you correctly. And here's the thing, it's not just piling on a shit ton of weight onto your lifts. Progressive overload is more than that. It is time under tension. It is pausing at the bottom and adding pulses. It's improving your form and your range of motion. Because here's the thing, if you have shitty form, then you're not going to get the glute growth that you're looking for. If you want to grow your glutes, if you want a chiseled core, if you want rounded delts, then it's really going to take learning how to lift properly with good form and good range of motion, and knowing when to increase your weight loads. So important. There's a huge difference between just piling on the weight, but training with intention, training for physique change. And if you're in perimenopause like me, this is even more important, because here's the problem. Most of us are lacking muscle, and when we're lacking muscle, we're not going to look as good as we could look. And not only that, we want to be strong, fit, and functional as we get older. We do not want to depend on other people to take care of us. We want to have a good quality life. So that is going to take building a lot of muscle, and probably more muscle than you think you actually need. So right away, that first little step that you're going to start taking to build a lean physique is getting started with a weight training program that is designed for a woman over 40, designed for a woman in perimenopause, for physique change. So F for foundation is our first little baby step to achieving a lean physique. All right, so the next one is rocks. Big rocks, that is. So the 6 big rocks equals non-negotiables when it comes to your health and your fitness. And if you're skipping these, don't blame your metabolism or your menopause, okay? Here is the 6 big rocks that I teach inside of Lean Physique. Eating the right amount of energy for your goals. So this is going to be around mindful eating and also macro counting, which I teach both inside Lean Physique. The second big rock is get up and move. I get messages all the time from women in perimenopause complaining about unwanted weight gain. And a lot of times, once we start digging, we realize we're just a little bit on the sedentary side. And all we really need to do is be a little bit more diligent with our nutrition. But really, a lot of it is going to be moving adequately throughout the day, being generally active, and not just during your workouts, but also outside of those workouts as well. Walking is so underrated. I'm telling you right now that walking is the secret to fat loss and building bone density and managing your stress. The third rock is hydrating like a boss. All right, just seriously, drink your effing water. I'm not even going to talk about this. Moving on. Number 4, the fourth big rock is start lifting like yesterday. This is exactly why step 1 is to pick up the heavy weights. Rock number 5, chill the hell out. I'm talking, come on, ladies, we got to figure out how to manage that stress. Stressors are never going to go away. There's always going to be something to do on your list. Those stressors are not going to go away anytime soon, so we may as well learn how to deal with them. And one way that you can deal with them is taking a freaking chill pill and chilling out to a sound bath or doing a meditation. Or maybe you're someone who likes to walk in the woods or hop into a hot steaming bathtub. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to work with you to help you find some stress relieving activities that you enjoy. That way you're not trying to fix your stress and self-medicate with things like food. And then finally, sleep like it is your side hustle. Okay, I know. For a lot of us, including myself, this one is a really hard one to change. I'm definitely not going to disagree here. But I will say that although there is probably a lot of things out of your control with sleep, you can absolutely control the controllables. So whether that is committing to an earlier bedtime a couple times a week like I do, or maybe you have a bedtime ritual that seems to work for you. Whatever the case, we will work as a team to help you get better Z's. All right, ladies, we are moving on. So the A in frame is about assessing body composition. So within the first month of you signing up for Lean Physique, me and you, we will meet for a one-on-one coaching session. So that way we can assess your current body composition. And that way we can guide you toward your goal. So whether that is fat loss, muscle gain, or maintenance. So during this coaching session, we look at muscle, fat, and what's going on in your life right now and what makes sense for you. Then we are going to work together as a team to craft your plan and a timeline for your goal. There is none of this bullshit of, okay, we're just going to start a fat loss phase on Monday. Here's why I don't do that. Because I've had so many people come into the membership or come into my one-on-one coaching after they've worked with a coach who did not ask them questions about their dieting history. They did not ask any questions about their current body composition or if they even want to lose fat right now, if they're ready to lose fat right now. And here's the problem. Not everyone is going to be ready for fat loss. Like, you literally need to have certain skills in place and your metabolism needs to be in a good spot in order to have a successful fat loss phase. All too often, I have so many people that come to me, they have been burned by a coach because they didn't ask the questions. They irresponsibly put them in a calorie deficit whenever they had no business to. So that's an issue, because if you go into a fat loss phase without thinking about things like, how long have I been dieting before this? How many times have I dieted in the last year or two? If you don't keep these things in mind, more than likely, one, you're probably not going to have good adherence if you don't have the skills needed to stay in a calorie deficit consistently. The other issue is that if your metabolism is compromised from a lot of dieting and you're eating a very low intake of food and you try to do a calorie deficit and your food has to be even lower, then more than likely you're not going to be able to stick with it. So this is a step that a lot of coaches do not take. And it's very crucial to ask these questions and make sure that you are ready to do a fat loss phase. I cannot stress this enough. So ladies, make sure that whatever you're doing, that if you're hiring a coach, that they're asking you these questions. This is so, so important. Because why do a fat loss phase if you're not going to be successful, right? You might as well not do it, right? Anyway, moving on. So we are on M in frame. So after we do our one-on-one assessment about your body composition, we talk about what you want to achieve. We go over your dieting history and we come up with a plan for either fat loss or maintaining or doing a small build or building muscle. Okay, the next step is macros. So nutrition that supports hormones, energy, and physique change. All right. So the next step is going through my women's 28-day macro counting challenge. So that way you can discover how to track and also set your macros. Then once you go through the 28-day macro counting challenge, or once you get started with it, you're going to start tracking your calories. Just tracking and trying to be as accurate as possible. Okay. Trying to write down every single little thing, ideally weighing so we have some accurate data. And this is just about gathering data and info. Here's why we want to do this. A lot of coaches will just spit out some numbers for you and be like, just eat this. That is a huge mistake as well. Why? Because we have no idea what you're eating right now. So if we don't have any idea what you're actually consuming, how can we create a calorie deficit? We don't really know what you're consuming. So just following a formula is actually very irresponsible. What we need to do, we need to gather data first. So yeah, this process, it's kind of a long process, but at least like we have a systematic way of doing it. And this works over and over and over again. So instead of just going on MyFitnessPal and putting in, some numbers, which, hey, don't do that because they're always wrong anyway. They're always going to underestimate. And believe it or not, the goal is to not cut your calories as low as possible during a cut. What we want to do is have your calories as high as we can during a cut. Okay. So that way we actually have energy. So that way it's easier to stay in a calorie deficit if your calories are higher, right? It's going to be so much easier if your calories are higher versus lower. So important to just track without judgment. There's no judgment here from me. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, I literally do not give a shit if I see an entire pizza in MyFitnessPal. I am not going to judge you over that. I might ask questions about it, but I'm never going to shame you. I'm never going to get mad at you over that. I'm never going to embarrass you. That's just not me. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to make you feel like shit. So literally, I don't give a shit if there's an entire pizza. I want you to be honest and write down every single thing. And remember, this is just data. This does not mean anything about you or who you are as a person. We just want to gather some data so that way we can have a successful fat loss, maintenance, or building phase. Okay. So after we do this for 1 to 2 weeks, just so we can kind of get an average of what your current caloric intake is, then what we'll do, we will meet again, or we will message back and forth some messages, and I will take that data and I will take my calculated calories and I will make it to where it is doable for where you are right now on this journey. Okay. So that's why it's really important to not just go off MyFitnessPal or just, calculate your calories using a formula. You really need to make sure you're doing the step of gathering the data for 1 to 2 weeks, including weekends. So that way you can get an average of where you're falling with your calories. And then from there, we can tweak your goal calorie intake from there. Okay. So that is the M. All right, ladies. So we are getting to the end here. So the last step in my Lean Physique framework is evaluate and evolve. So we have E for evaluate and evolve. So this is where a lot of women make mistakes because a lot of times they will just set it and forget it. So for example, they will set their calories and then forget it. And unfortunately, I see this a lot. I have clients that will come back to me after a year or two. And then when we start working together, I'm like, oh, you've been like keeping the same calories I gave you like a year ago. Like, ugh. Like we really need to make sure that we are doing things like tracking our progress. So inside Lean Physique, I'm going to teach you how to track your progress. This is so important because we do not want to have the scale dictate our results. Okay. So yes, the scale can be helpful, but that is not the only way we track our progress inside Lean Physique. We like to do pictures. So very, very important. Do pictures. Okay. Pictures do show a lot. The scale does not matter as much as things like pictures, right? We want physical change. No one gives a shit how much you weigh. And you really shouldn't either, honestly. So don't worry about what the scale says. I want you all to take pictures, and I teach you how to take pictures front, side, and back. I even teach you how to do it by yourself in case you don't want to have someone take pictures for you. I totally understand that. So I even teach you how to do it on your own. Measurements are great. Easier to have someone do that on you. This is something I do with my in-person personal training clients, but measurements can be really good as well as body composition. A lot of gyms have body composition analysis. A lot of it is actually pretty inexpensive as well. So you might want to check out your local gym and see if they do any kind of body composition analysis. This is just going to give you a better picture of what your body composition actually is, instead of just relying on the scale, because the scale is just not going to tell you really anything. Scale weight is really insignificant. We really want to look at more like looking at pictures, measurements, and also changes in body composition. So this is really where the real transformation happens. And unfortunately, a lot of women, I understand, it's hard to step on the scale. It's hard to take pictures and look at them. But here's the thing. You are doing yourself a disservice by not tracking your progress, because a lot of times I have clients that are like, I've only lost 5 pounds in 7 weeks. And it's like, first of all, that's actually really good. But then it's like, well, have you actually took pictures? And then when they do, they're like, oh, I can actually see a little bit of a difference. It's like, this is why we want to track our data. The other reason why we want to evaluate and then make tweaks to our plan as needed is because if you're not making progress, we need to tweak some things. We might need to tweak your calories a little bit. Maybe we need to make sure that you're accurately tracking. Maybe we need to make sure all of that is in check, right? Maybe we need to make sure that we're not overeating on the weekends, whatever the case may be. Maybe we need to add like some diet breaks in there, whatever the case may be. This is one thing that I see a lot. Like people will just like have the same calories throughout a cut. And that's actually a mistake too. You don't do the same calories the whole time you're in a fat loss phase. It's actually way smarter to start at a higher threshold. So starting with a smaller calorie deficit. So I would suggest more around like a 15% deficit. And then you make that a little bit steeper as you get deeper into that fat loss phase. So maybe after a month or after 6 weeks, then I would bump that up to like a 20% deficit. And then after another month, I might bump that up to a 25% deficit. Why does this work? 1, you're not going to lose as much muscle this way. 2, your compliance is probably going to be way better because you're only going to have your calories super low for like a short amount of time. I shouldn't say super low. They're just going to be low for a short amount of time. So also your metabolism, because here's the thing. If you have a big calorie deficit from the get-go, then you're just going to have to cut your calories even more when your body starts to adapt. And your body is actually really good at adapting. That's the issue. Like our metabolism is designed to find homeostasis, right? To adapt. So we need to be really careful about just like going into a fat loss phase with guns blazing, because a lot of times that's just going to be a recipe for having to drop your calories super low. And you definitely don't want to do that because, again, adherence, muscle loss, those are all true things. And not only that, that's going to screw up your metabolism. So that is the last one. So basically inside Lean Physique, you will meet with your coach, me, monthly, and we're going to assess and adjust your plan as needed before things start to go sideways. And that's really the point. So I do want to just touch on Lean Physique a little bit more. So Lean Physique is all about physique change in perimenopause. Yes, it is absolutely possible. But here's the thing, ladies, like it's just going to take being open to doing some things different. In Lean Physique, for example, we don't generally try to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Just like in my last episode, we talked about that. If you're someone who's been training for a year or more and you've had some weight loss, then more than likely you're not going to get the results that you want trying to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. It's going to be extremely slow and frustrating. Okay, trust me on this. I've been there. I talk about this all the time on this podcast. We take an approach of picking one or the other and going all the fuck in with it, okay? This is going to give you better results because here's the reality. Unless you're a new person to training and you have quite a bit of weight to lose, you're not going to be able to put on muscle mass in a calorie deficit. So here's the thing. Those are actually two conflicting goals, okay? You need calories in order to build muscle. Facts, all right? You're not going to build a booty on 1,500 calories a day. I hate to tell you this. So this means that you need to have seasons with your nutrition in your body composition. Because the reality is that if you want to look lean and toned and muscular, that's going to take having times eating a little bit more food and focusing on building muscle. Okay. And then once you build a good amount of muscle, then you can cut. So that way you can actually see the lean and toned look, see the definition. So yeah, I know this isn't a quick fix, but let me ask you this. Are you really seeing the good results with the quick fixes that you're doing? Are you really happy with the results? Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the crash diets and the endless cardio, the sweaty, breathless workouts? Ladies, let's be real here. That shit does not work in perimenopause. Here's what really works. Lifting heavy shit. Like none of this like 10-pound lunge thing. Like, yeah, maybe in the beginning, but if you've been lifting weights for years and you're still doing 10 pounds on a lunge, for example, you're probably not lifting heavy enough. If you're never sore, you're probably not lifting heavy enough. If you're not seeing any glute growth, you're probably not lifting heavy enough. And also, we need to stop dieting all the time. Again, there's a lot of things that can happen when you diet a lot. Your metabolism is going to slow. You're going to be burning less calories. You're probably going to mess up your metabolism to where you have to eat a low calorie diet in order to maintain your results or to lose weight. You can't build muscle in a deficit. So dieting all the time, we have got to unravel this messaging that is a bunch of bullshit that, just eat less, exercise more. That's not always going to work. Not at this point. Okay. So dieting all the time is not a good strategy. This is why I'm a big fan of macro counting. Like, it's not depriving. It actually is going to help you be more accurate. You're going to be able to fit your favorite foods in, which I teach you how to do. I teach you flexible dieting inside Lean Physique. There's a big difference for eating with intention for a lean physique, for physique change, versus just trying to be as small as possible. We don't want to be as small as possible. We want to have muscle tone. And again, like, it's not just for looks, like this is actually functional as well. If you want to be independent as you get older, you definitely need to have probably more muscle than you think. So we got to stop the dieting. We need to get under some heavy barbells or heavy dumbbells. And we also need to stop the cardio. I'm not saying stop completely, but the metabolic conditioning workouts, the HIIT workouts, those are not good for your hormones. And not only that, they are not helping you build muscle. They're actually breaking down your muscle tissue. So yes, I do think that cardio can have a place if fat loss is your goal, or if you just want some heart health. I think that's great, but it shouldn't be the main star in your workout program. So this is what I see a lot. I see a lot of women in their 40s and their 50s, they're going to boot camp classes, they're going to Orange Theory, and they're wondering why they work out all the time, but they don't look like it. It's because they're not following the right plan. It's not that they're doing things wrong. It's just that they've been taught wrong. They're not doing the right things for physique change. So training for fun and training for like just overall health is a lot different than training for physique change. For physique change, you really need to lift heavy. You need to eat the right amount of calories, not eat as low calories as possible. And we need to stop all the cardio. And that's exactly what I'm teaching inside Lean Physique. So just so you know, inside Lean Physique, it is a membership. So it's free for 2 weeks now through Friday, May 2nd. And then I'm going to shut it down. And if I fill it before then, I'm going to shut it down because this actually has one-on-one with me. So you get not only access to the membership, which has strength building workouts designed for women in perimenopause to build round glutes and cap shoulders, but also you're going to get nutrition content as well. So that's where the 6 big rocks is. Remember, we talked about the big rocks. These are really the big dial movers when it comes to fat loss and building muscle. Way more important than things like how many carbs should I eat in a day, or what about calorie cycling? Like, don't worry about that shit. That shit is very insignificant and it's probably taking up a lot of your brain space. What we want to do is focus on the big dial movers, the big rocks. So you have access to the Lean Physique library where you're going to be learning the 6 big rocks. You're also going to get a Pilates library filled with 20 to 30 minute workouts with me leading. I used to be a Pilates instructor. I love Pilates. I don't think that you can build a great body, a great physique with Pilates. Don't come after me. Hey, I taught Pilates for 7 years. I'm just saying that if you want to build muscle, Pilates is not the way to do it. If you want to work on mobility and core strength, absolutely. So that's exactly why I included Pilates workouts, because I think it's a great supplement. No, I don't think that they're great for muscle building, but I do think that they are great to do once, twice a week for mobility and also core strength. So you get access to the Pilates library filled with workouts. You also get the macro counting challenge, which walks you through step-by-step how to start macro tracking and also how to set your own macros. You'll also get the body composition training, which walks you through exactly how long to do fat loss, what to do after a fat loss phase, and what you're doing when you're not in a fat loss phase. So you'll get access to all of that. But not only that, this is what I want to hammer home here. This is not just a workout app, okay? There's all of those, okay? There's all of those out. This is different because this is training and coaching, because you're going to get one-on-one coaching with me. You get to meet with me once a month. So that way we can get together. We can go over anything that you're struggling with. We can evaluate what's going on and assess and adjust. We can assess your adjust your plan. And also you're going to get private messaging with me. There is a group component as well. You'll have access to my private Facebook group for Lean Physique members only. And you're also going to get a group coaching session every month, as well as some pop-up workshops that we do in our private Facebook group. So $89 a month after a free 2-week trial. So you guys can give it a try and get started today building a lean physique. And if it's not for you, no hard feelings. So I am going to put the link in the show notes. So make sure that you check out my free 2-week membership trial and join Lean Physique today. So thanks so much for being here. I'm also going to put a link to my Facebook group, which I actually changed the name of that today as well. Lean and Strong and Perimenopause. I would love for you to be a part of my free Facebook group. I post a lot of reels on working out and nutrition for perimenopause. And we also do a lot of workshops. So just a couple weeks ago, we wrapped up a Leaner, Fitter You. I talked about this on previous podcast episodes, but we did a 2-part training series all about building muscle and losing fat in perimenopause. So make sure that you guys join my group. I do have the replays from a Leaner, Fitter You inside that Facebook group. So I would love to have you a part of our community. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And before I go, just one more thing. If you're enjoying my podcast, I would really appreciate you writing me a 5-star review. Whenever you write me a 5-star review, it really does help push my podcast out so more women who need to hear this message can find me. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next episode. All right. Bye for now.